This year's field for one of the top jocks in the country. Perspective on the 19 men who will be on top of those thoroughbreds, those 3-year-olds. They now leave the jocks room. They'll walk through some fans who are seated in one of the VIP areas and make their way down to the paddock to meet up with the trainers and the horses and get a leg up on those horses. So as they depart the jocks room, head to the paddock, let's meet the jockeys for Derby 147.
Ayrado Ortiz Jr., No Allenda.
Drayden Van Dyke, Like the King.
Humberto Rispoli, Brooklyn Strong.
David Cohen, Keep Me in Mind.
Corey Lannery, St. Hope.
Marcelino Pedrosa, Obesos.
Florent Geroux, Mendaluna.
John Velasquez, Medina Spirit.
Flavian Pratt, Hot Rod Charlie.
Mike Smith, Midnight Bourbon.
Jose Ortiz, Dynamic One.
Julian Leparoux, Ilium.
Rafael Bejarano, Hidden Stash.
Luis Saez, Essential Quality.
Joel Rosario, Rocky World. Javier Castellano, Highly Motivated.
Ricardo Santana Jr., Superstar.
Tyler Gaffleon, Soup and Sandwich.
Kendrick Cormouch, Bird Bonnet.
So there are the 19. Remember, King Fury was scratched. That's why it's not the field of 20. And Luis Saez, introduced there, is the one on the favorite at now 3-1 odds as we watch the ever-changing. Joel Rosario is on Rock Your World, his 10th Derby. He has won it once. Hot Rod Charlie, the 5-1 third choice. Flavian Pratt, who has 3 winners on this day. Sometimes people may adjust their thought on the hot jock of the day, and Flavian has continued the big run. You heard the music of Free Ride, and the ride pays off. He finished in the top 5. $1.8 million of the $3 million purse, $600,000 for second, $300,000, $150,000, and then $90,000. And that's it. You don't get anything else. Cost to run the race is $50,000. So if you don't finish in the top 5, you don't make money. Essential Quality has made $2.2 million in his career. This 3-year-old who is perfect with the local trainer, Brad Cox, goes for that first Louisvillian to train a Derby winner. Hot Rod Charlie, we've talked about the Brown football players, the alums, the 20-somethings who stick together. Doug O'Neill has a great tradition in this sport over the last few years of the Derby. He's going for his 3rd Kentucky Derby victory. Santa Anita Derby, one of the key prep races in Southern California. Rock Your World was first. John Sadler is really appreciated out there. Loves the horses, has such respect in the barn area. He has a chance to get his first Kentucky Derby. It would be popular. And Known Agenda, the other horse that a lot of folks are paying interest to at 10-1, as Todd Pletcher will saddle 4, including Known Agenda in this race. It'll make 59, more than any trainer has gotten horses into the Kentucky Derby. When we come back, it's Riders Up as we get closer to Derby 147.
On Sky Sports Racing.
What's poppin'? Brand new whip, just hopped in. I got options. I can pass that like Stockton.
After winning the last year, I don't know, I'm still hungry. There's only one feeling like winning the Kentucky Derby, and the only way you can feel it is to win it.
It's my dream. I can't wait to make it happen.
Yeah, I feel a little bit pressure, but I can handle it.
To get the roses, I mean, that's the icing on the cake for me. You got to go to work.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the paddock and welcome 4-time Kentucky Derby winning trainer D. Wayne Lucas as we celebrate the 25th anniversary of Grindstone's Kentucky Derby win.
Ladies and gentlemen, the city of Louisville and the Commonwealth of Kentucky and sports fans all across the world are waiting for this moment. Riders Up!
Very cool to have D. Wayne Lucas doing that. Over 4,800 career wins in addition to those 4 Kentucky Derbies, including a win on the first race on the card today. And 25 years ago, mentioned Jerry Bailey was the jockey. Got a leg up when Riders Up was called. D. Wayne Lucas, the trainer. Grindstone a quarter century ago. So we watch the horses, jockeys up and make their way around the ring in the paddock and then back out to the track. And from our reporters back there, so far everything has been calm. The horses have not been spooked or scared in any way by the crowd. No situation so far. So it's time now for a couple of long-standing pre-Derby traditions. We'll soon hear the call to post, followed by the playing of the state song, My Old Kentucky Home. That dates back to 1853. Decades-long conversations about the song's historical context have come up again. It has been performed at Churchill Downs on Derby Day for nearly a century, and we'll hear it again shortly. But first, another tradition that dates back to the 1800s. Time for the call to the post. Here's Churchill Downs bugler Steve Buttleman.
Ladies and gentlemen, the management and staff and horsemen of Churchill Downs proudly present the 147th running of the Kentucky Derby, presented by Woodford Reserve. Please rise as the University of Louisville Marching Band plays My Old Kentucky Home.
So Luis Saez just keeping essential quality calm, knowing that cheer was coming. Good to hear familiar sights and sounds fill the air under the twin spires of Churchill Downs. And here's the post parade for the 147th Kentucky Derby. The one known agenda, one of the four Todd Pletcher horses, trying to become the first winner from the one hole in 34 years. This horse won the Florida Derby. The 2 is Like the King, long shot son of 2013 Belmont winner Palace Malice, the first Derby horse trained by respected Wesley Ward. Randy, the 3 is Brooklyn Strong.
First Derby mount for Humberto Rispoli, and as Nick mentioned earlier, trainer Danny Velasquez nearly killed in a training accident March 13th. Still suffering effects, but his first Derby horse is making him feel a lot better.
The 4 is Keep Me in Mind. Lone Win was here in November. Derby debut for jockey David Cohen and trainer Robertino Diodoro. The 5, Jerry, Sainthood.
He's got one win in his 3 career starts. He ran second in his last race with a ton of trouble. Would have won with a little racing luck. Live long shot trying to give trainer Todd Pletcher his 3rd Derby win.
Yeah, the odds on 2 through 6 are 40 to 1 or more, including Obesos, the son of 2013 Derby winner. Obesos means kisses in Spanish. First Derby for jockey Marcelino Pedrosa. The 7, Randy Mandaloon.
Brad Cox's other horse, a puzzling 6th in the Louisiana Derby, now trying to become the first horse since 1908 to win the Derby after losing his final prep by more than 10 lengths.
Some horses getting interest. 12 to 1, the 8, Medina Spirit. Bob Baffert goes for a record 7th as a trainer. Horse named for a city in Saudi Arabia with Hall of Famer and 3-time Derby winner John Velasquez riding. Jerry, the 9, is Hot Rod Charlie.
He's one of the most improving colts in this race, coming off a win in the Louisiana Derby. He's trying to give trainer Doug O'Neill his 3rd Kentucky Derby win. He has enough tactical speed to be close to a position early, but he's got to stay out of trouble.
Midnight Bourbon is the 10 in the money. All 7 starts. The Hall of Famer Mike Smith is the jockey. His 27th Derby breaks Bill Shoemaker's record for the most Derby mounts. Long shot 43 to 1 is Dynamic 1. That's the 11, Todd Pletcher's 3rd horse. Just 1 win. Ran well in the Wood Memorial. Jose Ortiz seeking his first Derby win. Randy, the 12 is Helium.
One of the unbeatens, 3 for 3 lifetime. He's run just once this year, but that was the Tampa Bay Derby in early March. He won it at 15-1 despite a very wide trip.
He's 36-1, 37-1 is the 13. Hidden Stash, long shot. 2-time winner in 7 starts. Trainer Vicky Oliver's the first woman to train a Derby horse in 6 years. Jerry, the 14 is the favorite, Essential Quality.
Yeah, he's undefeated in 5 starts with no discernible weaknesses. He can adapt to almost any scenario. His jockey Luis Saez is his first Derby mount since being disqualified in 2019.
Rock Your World's the 15, 3 starts, 3 wins, including the Santa Anita Derby. The first 2 wins came on turf. Veteran John Sadler trying to win his first Derby. The 16, King Fury, scratched yesterday. The 17 is Highly Motivated.
Beaten just an egg by Essential Quality in the Bluegrass. All-Star Connections owner Seth Klarman, trainer Chad Brown, jockey Javier Castellano, all looking for their first Derby win.
18, Jerry Superstock.
The Arkansas Derby winner, trained by Steve Asmussen, who's won over 9,000 races, but still looking for his first Kentucky Derby win after 21 tries.
19, Soup and Sandwich, partially owned by the granddaughter of the former Campbell Soup president. Jockey-trainer combo that won the 2019 Preakness. 26-1, one more long shot at 29-1. The 20, Bourbonic, long shot winner of the Wood Memorial, ridden by Kendrick Carmouche, the first black jockey in the Kentucky Derby since 2013. And there are the 19 horses. Which one will make history as the winner of the 2021 Kentucky Derby? On a perfect day with a great backdrop, here we go. Mike Smith makes his record 27th Derby start. Will he be the oldest ever to win America's biggest horse race? Will it be Joel Rosario, earning glory on Rock Your World? Flavien Prat was the winner in 2019. Looks to visit again with Hot Rod Charlie. But it's Luis Saez who rides the favorite, Essential Quality. The 147th Kentucky Derby is next.
We're getting closer, aren't we, to the big race itself. All the build-up, all the look at some of the stats in terms of the jockeys. Mike Smith, more rides in the Derby than anybody else. The young man, of course, in the race, Tyler Gaffleone. Can he win the Derby on Soup and Sandwich? It's going to be a fascinating watch. Essential Quality is the favourite still, obviously, for Luis Saez. What sort of price are we looking at now? We're about 9-4 earlier, and now 2-1. So there has been some money for the favourite. Rock Your World is 9-2. Hot Rod Charlie, many people fancy this horse to run well. 15-2. Known Agenda 8-1. Highly Motivated for Chad Brown is a 10-1 chance. Bob Baffert's sole representative is a 14-1 chance. Medina Spirit, currently 20-1 bar those. Now, of course, the race last year took place in October. Was won by Authentic for Bob Baffert. Bill Mott won it 2 years ago. Country House on the disqualification of poor old Maximum Security and Luis Saez. Before that, it was Justify for Bob Baffert. Todd Pletcher won it the year before with Always Dreaming. Nyquist for Doug O'Neill in 2016. Baffert again in 2015 with American Pharaoh. California Chrome, the brilliant California Chrome for the veteran Art Sherman in 2014. Shug McGaughey won it with Orb in 2013. I'll have another for Doug O'Neill and Graham Motion going back to 2011 with Animal Kingdom. They're the previous winners. Thanks for all the emails as well tonight. Looking forward to the big race. Alan fancies Rock Your World to run well. Patrick's loving the coverage. He would love Bourbonic to win it for Kendrick Carmouche, but the money is on Essential Quality. Jack Meyer fancies both Helium and Mandaloon each way at prices. Good luck to you, Jack, as well, and Glyn Rafferty as well, going for a boxed Superfecta 1, 11, 12 and 14. Thank you for all the correspondence. Let's have a look at Essential Quality, shall we? This is the favourite in action here, the Godolphin runner. You can see, switch to the outside, winning here at Keeneland in the Breeders' Cup. Of course, this was back in November, and he was very strong in the final following here. Look at this late finishing kick that he has. Essential Quality this day. This was the Breeders' Cup Juvenile when he won in the end by 3 parts of a length. Then he came to Keeneland again this spring, a couple of weeks ago, the Bluegrass, Grade 2. Wins by a neck here, beats Highly Motivated into second place. These two, of course, face off again today. He's a horse who never wins by very far, Essential Quality. Look at his winning margins, a neck, 3 parts of a length in the Breeders' Cup. So he can win ugly, if you like. He does seem to like a scrap, though, doesn't he? He'll roll his sleeves up if he has to, Essential Quality. I think if it comes to a fight, he's the horse you want on your side. We're going to go back to our colleagues once again at NBC as we conclude our build-up to the Kentucky Derby.
He walks along the rail when no one's looking. Just a few minutes before the spotlight turns to him, climbs a set of steps to a modest watchtower, and soon gazes down at the horses being loaded into the gates. Then comes the moment, bathed in anticipation that belongs all to him. The moment of collective silence, right before the Kentucky Derby starter opens the gates and thousands all around him exult in delight. 8 months ago, it was as quiet as ever when the Derby went off. But what followed was almost eerie in its emptiness. Over the next 2 minutes, what you could hear, though, had a purity to it. As they all chased immortality in a year like no other. Rest assured, today, they'll sound the same down on the track, but also revel in the roar of the crowd, even reduced in size, that will drown out everything else. It's not completely back to the kind of day we're used to here, but it's close enough to look, feel, and sound the part. It's the first Saturday in May at Churchill Downs, the start of the Kentucky Derby, and the roar of the crowd is just moments away.
As his victory for one of the 19 horses in front of 51,838 fans, about 40% of a normal Derby crowd, and the largest attendance at a U.S. sporting event, certainly in this spring and probably in the last year. And it's an ideal day, and the fans are all ready for the Kentucky Derby, where Essential Quality has remained the favorite since the morning line came out when the post positions were drawn earlier this week. Rock Your World, the second choice, just a half tick ahead of Hot Rod Charlie. Known Agenda's odds moving a little bit lower now, 9-1, and then Highly Motivated at 10-1. Medina Spirit, Midnight Bourbon, that's the line of demarcation. After that, long shot or value, depending on how you've handicapped it and what you like in the remainder of the field of 19. Final thoughts here, guys, as they get ready to load. Randy, Essential Quality, the favorite.
He deserves to be a slight favorite because he's solid, not spectacular. The distance is no problem. He's fast enough to win. What could beat him is just misfortune. He's got to avoid a bad start. He's ducked out a couple of times in his career leaving the starting gate. Got to avoid that, and got to avoid the ground loss of a wide trip around the turns.
Third choice, Jerry Hot Rod Charlie, the 9.
We've talked about his ability to adapt to the pace. He can be close to a slow one, back on a fast one, but it's up to his jockey, Flavien Prat, to sense that. All these prep races, they've been short fields. The pace has been very predictable. It is anything but predictable in this race, so it's crucial that his jockey sense what the pace is early in the game.
7 starts, 2 wins for Hot Rod Charlie. The number 2 choice is one of the 3 undefeated horses in the Derby, Randy, in Rock Your World.
Look, he went wire to wire to win the Santa Anita Derby and was extremely impressive. If he makes the early lead here, I think he's the horse to beat. But Jerry and I talked to trainer Steve Asmussen earlier this week of Midnight Bourbon. We said, where do you think your horse will be? He said, on the lead. His instructions to Mike Smith are going to be to hustle the horse early and try to get the early lead, which would force Rock Your World into a stalking position. Maybe he can handle it just fine. We don't know. He's only had 3 starts. This is where the inexperience factor comes in.
Third of a century since a horse has won the Derby from the one hole. Randy, a new gate means that horse is not going to come out and pointed directly to the rail, but a little bit inside. Do you think it makes a difference with Known Agenda?
You know, I think he's got to go forward anyway, no matter what pose he is. The issue with Known Agenda, he's got a great cruising speed, but no acceleration, not real quick acceleration through the course of the race. And these holes, Mike, they open and they close in a heartbeat. So if you have a horse that doesn't accelerate fast, it makes your job harder hitting those holes, but the distance is right up his alley.
They call him Derby Bob. Bob Baffert. He goes for a record 7th as a trainer. Randy, what's the scenario if Medina Spirit can do it for Baffert?
The $1,000 yearling, he actually has the speed to make the early lead should John Velasquez choose to push the button early. And look, if that happens, he is one tough customer. He has never been passed by another horse. He's been forward. He's only had 5 lifetime starts. And I don't think in that scenario he would need to improve a lot to win this race. I think he's in with a puncher's chance.
You just heard how many horses we think have speed and could be. Exactly. This is the problem trying to decipher the Kentucky Derby, especially for the jockeys riding it. Who's going? How fast are we going? When do I move?
Everyone said it's going to be on a swivel that first quarter of a mile for sure.
Baffert told me last week in California, Medina Spirit always gives you the best he has. Don't know if it's the best in this class, in this field, but he always gives it to you. We'll see if he does it on this day. The horses have come back from the post parade and walk down. They circle around. Now they'll start to load. 19 horses. It takes some time, but they double load 2 at a time. So you see horses already in. And there goes the favorite. Essential Quality for Brad Cox. Can you imagine the biggest event in the sport you love happens 2 blocks from where you grew up, and now you have a chance to win it? That's what Brad Cox is thinking about 3 minutes from now. Todd Pletcher. No one has ever trained more horses who have appeared in the Kentucky Derby. His 4 loading mean 59. He has a chance for a 3rd. And the family story of Steve Asmussen today. Can he find his first Derby? For the call of the 147th Kentucky Derby, here's the voice of the Triple Crown, Larry Comas.
Thank you, Mike. Soup and Sandwich just walked in. Bourbonic and Kendrick Carmouche will be the last to load here. 19 3-year-olds. All in line and ready for the start. They're off in the Kentucky Derby. And off to a solid beginning here. And it will be Medina Spirit who comes out the best and take the early lead. Soup and Sandwich on the outside, away running in second. Helium is close up to the pace in between those 2, and these 3 will lead them early. And then it's Hot Rod Charlie behind them, Mandaloon on the inside. Essential Quality is outside of horses and 4 lengths from the front early. And then it's Superstock, followed by Highly Motivated. Rock Your World's coming from well off the pace here as they make their way into the turn. He's a good 10 lengths off the lead. And toward the inside, it's Obesos. They're being followed by Midnight Bourbon, who's well off the pace as well. Mike the King is next on the inside. Then Brooklyn Strong. Dynamic One is next. Known Agenda, followed on the outside by Hidden Stash. And at the back of the pack earlier, Bourbonic. And the trailer is Keep Me in Mind. The first half mile was 46.7 seconds, and Medina Spirit leads them up the backstretch. The Bob Baffert trainee is 3/4 of a length in front. Soup and Sandwich on the outside second. Mandaloon drafts in right behind the front runners, 3rd on the inside. Then it's Helium in 4th. Hot Rod Charlie behind them. Essential Quality begins to move on the far outside as they make their way around the far turn. Medina Spirit is still the leader here. And Mandaloon comes on the scene on the outside, a half length behind. Essential Quality is put to pressure. Hot Rod Charlie right in behind the leaders. Flavia Pratt asking him to go now as they make their way to the top of the stretch. Medina Spirit and Mandaloon are stride for stride. Hot Rod Charlie and Essential Quality closing on the outside. The 4 of them come into the final furlong. Mandaloon fighting for the front. Medina Spirit battles on. Hot Rod Charlie on the outside. Essential Quality on the far outside. The 4 of them coming to the finish in the Kentucky Derby. Here's the wire. Bob Baffert does it again. Medina Spirit has won the Kentucky Derby. Mandaloon was second. Hot Rod Charlie was 3rd. Essential Quality was 4th. 2:01:02 the final time. Bob Baffert stands alone with 7 Derby wins.
He has set the all-time record for most wins by a trainer in the Kentucky Derby. He told us last week, the horse gives you everything every time. It was enough this time, and Medina Spirit has won a sensational Kentucky Derby. The 4th for John Velasquez.
Congratulations, Johnny. Wow. What a race. What a race. Hey, Oaks and Derby, huh?
Yes.
That all right with you? I don't think everybody's ever done that, have they? Huh?
No.
Old timers still got a couple left in.
To winning the Kentucky Oaks yesterday. And the congratulations for John Velasquez riding in his 23rd Kentucky Derby. The Hall of Famer who had Authentic and Always Streaming in Animal Kingdom wins his 4th in a decade. And the Baffert magic happens again at Churchill Downs as Medina Spirit, not the best of the Baffert horses in the 3-year-old crop coming into this season, 2nd in the Santa Anita Derby, wins the biggest of them all.
Just like last year, Jerry. Wasn't the best of the Baffert horses a while back, but he's good enough to get it done.
And this was no secret. John Velasquez says, I'm going to let him run. Bob Baffert told me speed is the name of the game. He let him run a lead, and there was no gift in here. Those fractions were honest fractions. Medina Spirit cutting out and holding off all challengers just as Van der Loon take a run at him. Hot Rod Charlie ran his race. Essential Quality a little wide on the first turn, 4 wide second turn. Everybody had a shot to win, but as you said, Benny, he's a tough customer to get by.
He has never been passed by another horse. And when you saw him on the lead turning into the backstretch, and it was a fairly comfortable lead, the track is extremely fast today, so the fractions were not out of control. You knew he was going to be one tough cookie to get by.
There was no going to the car in the parking lot early today. It's time to celebrate. Velasquez as well wins the Derby. To Donna Brothers.
John, you won the Kentucky Oaks yesterday. Today, you win your 4th Kentucky Derby. Let me say that again. Your 4th Kentucky Derby. Any way to put into words what that means to you?
There's no word to describe it. I mean, the last couple of days, obviously, winning the Oaks yesterday and winning with him today. What incredible feeling, man. This doesn't get old. I mean, the pleasure is to be here and actually get it to win it again. I want to come back next year again.
The last 2 times you rode him, he wasn't able to be any better than second. Can you talk about what was the difference for him today?
You know, really the first time I rode him against the other Bob horse, he was much faster than us, and I didn't want to go ahead and kill him head and head with the other horse. Last time, the other horse for the Rosario rode today showed so much speed and then kept running, though. You know, I thought for sure he was going to come back, and I was more paying attention to the horse, another horse that actually Proud was riding, and I thought he was the horse to beat, and I kind of waited a little bit longer than I thought, and when I hooked up the other horse, I said, well, I think I'm going to win it. In the quarter pole, the other horse kept going running, so I was surprised. Today, I told to Bob, we're going to put him on Leo close to the lead without taking any hold of him and see what happens. And I think he's the horse to beat, though, you know, so it worked out.
Well done. And Johnny did admit to crying like a baby when you got back to the jocks room after last year's Derby. Let's go to Kenny Rice, who's with Bob Baffert, and probably ready to cry like a baby himself.
All right, thank you, Donna. Bob Baffert has done it. He set the record with his 7th Kentucky Derby win, making it back-to-back. Bob, you were under the radar more than I think you've ever been in a Derby to come into this one. What did you think coming in?
Well, I knew he was training well, but I'm really surprised. When I saw him on the easy lead, I kept waiting for these horses to come at him. But Johnny had him in a perfect spot, and if you have him on the lead, he'll fight. When those horses came to him, I cannot believe he won this race. That little horse, that was him. It was all guts. And, you know, I was a little disappointed with his last race. He didn't run well, and came in here training well for it. And I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I mean, his owner, Ammer, you know, I told him, I think we got a chance, but, you know, maybe I'm so spoiled bringing these heavy-duty horses in here. But I'm telling you, that little horse has got a heart. Such a big heart, and this guy made it happen.
What does it mean to set the record now, Bob? It's the 7th time. Nobody's ever won this many times.
I just can't believe it hasn't sunken in yet. But I love the record and all that. But you know what? It's one of those things where I'm just so thrilled because when you win it, you never know if you're ever going to be back. It is so difficult, and to win a 7th. I think Bill Belichick gave me a lot of good luck the other day when we did that little interview, and so. You know, we stay focused, keep working at it, and hopefully you'll get here. And I couldn't be prouder of my team. But that little horse, he won it today. I mean, he doesn't know how much he cost. But you know what? What a little racehorse. He was all racehorse today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, Mike.
How much he cost? Originally bought for $1,000 as a yearling. The current owners, talking about Zidane Stables, bought him for $35,000 in July of 2020. Worth a little bit more right now, Medina Spirit. But who knows? Now that he's won 7, maybe we'll have to sit him down with Tom Brady before next year's Derby, a 7-time champion. Unless, of course, Brady wins again with Tampa this coming year.
I mean, we're living through it. He's going to go down in history as the most successful horse trainer of all time. You know, I mean, what he's done. And look, when he won his first 2 Kentucky Derbies with Silver Charm and Real Quiet, those were horses that cost less than $20,000 originally. So he doesn't have to have these blue-blooded $1 million horses to succeed.
And let's be honest, there has been controversy around Baffert. He just went through the Arkansas Racing Commission with a couple of horses. He had a suspension that was erased by the Arkansas Racing Commission upon appeal by Baffert. There are many in the sport who are jealous of Baffert. There are many who question Baffert. He told us this week, I have to be, as the face of the sport and successful, the one who takes a lot of criticism. And he welcomes it. He says, come look, come see, you make your decisions. Bob Baffert has answered those critics, and Bob Baffert now passes Ben Jones from the late 30s to the early 50s as the winningest trainer in Kentucky Derby history. He wins another Triple Crown race. Back on the first Saturday in May, the Kentucky Derby, it continued. It endured last year through the pandemic. So we continue to add to the list of history that's now almost a century and a half old. Most of it playing out under these iconic twin spires. And what a tight race. It's been 2 decades since we've had a really close finish at the Derby. And boy, did we have it today. But the horse that started strong, finished strong. Medina Spirit. Once a yearling purchase for $1,000. Eventually ending up with Bob Baffert. And Bob Baffert's mastery of the Kentucky Derby and the Triple Crown races continues with a 7th Derby victory more than any other trainer. He's a Hall of Famer, and so is 49-year-old John Velazquez, who has won it now for the 4th time in the last 11 runnings. He did it with Authentic last year. Velazquez goes back-to-back. Medina Spirit, the winner of the 2021 Kentucky Derby. Trophy presentation, order, payouts, and everything else as we continue from Churchill Downs. That garland of roses walked across the track, across the withers of the winner of the 2021 Kentucky Derby, Medina Spirit. It is official, and here are the payouts in 2 minutes, 1.02 seconds. Medina Spirit 12-1 is $26.20, $12.760. Mandaloon 26-1 shot up for second, $23.1340. Hot Rod Charlie, second choice going in. Finishes third, paying off $5.20. There's the trifecta. The superfecta over $9,000 when you add Essential Quality, the favorite, finishing 4th in the race. Time now for the White Claw race replay. Randy and Jerry will take you through what they saw as this played out.
Well, look at the start of Essential Quality. And to his outside, Rock Your World, number 50, to his left, who's expected to show speed. It's a good break from the gate. They bump each other soundly. A few strides out.
Rock Your World took the worst of it. Essential Quality got shuffled back a position or two, but that's about where he wanted to be anyway. In terms of the Kentucky Derby, that was a pretty clean break with only a slight bother for Essential Quality.
That's where you guys had him in the race preview. Now he's a little bit closer to the lead,
but he's 4.5 wide.
He was only 2 to 3 wide on the first turn. He's extremely wide on this turn. Mandaloon is in the orange saddle talent. He's the one closest to Medina Spirit that could have put pressure on him early. But when the horse is 10-1, you're not going to go after him early. You still have a chance to win yourself. So at the top of the stretch for the Derby, I think it was a very fair race. I think everybody that had a chance to win could have, but they just got outrun.
If Medina Spirit had been a 3-5 favorite, coasting on the lead, a clear lead, some guys would have gone after him. At 12-1, they're not going to go early, as Gary said, to try to put pressure on him. This race was won by the decision to go for the early lead with Medina Spirit. And the other speed, Midnight Bourbon, no speed whatsoever. He was mid-pack. Rock Your World bumped at the start. That left Medina Spirit on the lead.
With Essential Quality, the favorite, we thought that was the best chance for Louisvillian Brad Cox to win. Mandaloon was the one who had a shot at the end there, the 26-1 shot, finishing second. So dejection for Cox as he finishes second and 4th in the Derby.
But there's nothing you can point to during the run of this race and say, if that would have happened, it would have been a different result. If that would have happened, it would have been a different result. Pretty clean race. Everybody had a chance to do what they wanted. Medina Spirit just outran them.
And we were worried about Essential Quality getting a wide trip.
That was our White Claw race replay. Medina Spirit, Mandaloon, Hot Rod Charlie, Essential Quality. We'll give you the full order in a moment, but Rock Your World, the second choice at 9-2 when they went off, finished way back 17th in this race. Talk about John Velazquez and he's won 7 Preakness Stakes now, 7 Derbies, 7 Preakness Stakes, and 3 Belmont Stakes, 17 Triple Crown victories as a trainer, the most all time. So we'll see you from the Inner Harbor in a couple of weeks for the second leg of horse racing's Triple Crown. There is everyone assembled in the Derby winner's circle before the presentation. As Medina Spirit gets a moment to enjoy, here is the full order of finish with Medina Spirit, Mandaloun, Hot Rod Charlie, Essential Quality, and then back to Obesos. By the way, half length you see there. We went to Giacomo 2005, last time the Derby was this close. Known Agenda finished 9th with Todd Pletcher. The 4 Pletcher horses finishing 9th, 11th, 13th, and 18th with Dynamic One. And Rock Your World's the other favorite who didn't factor in at all, finishing 17th. There's the complete order of 19 for the presentation to the Kentucky Derby winner's circle. And Ahmed Fareed.
What a day of racing. What a day for Medina Spirit. I'm here on the pagoda with the CEO of Churchill Downs, Bill Karstanjian. Also, the governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Andy Bashir, who's been coming to the Kentucky Derby for 34 years, but for the first time, handing out the trophy. Andy?
What a difference a year makes. The people of Kentucky have spent this last year sacrificing for each other, living for each other. So today, it is my honor to be able to hand out this trophy in honor of the people of Kentucky. So, I get to congratulate the winner of the 147th Kentucky Derby, Medina Spirit. Its trainer, Bob Baffert. Its jockey, Johnny V. And its owner, Amr Zidane.
Keep it all together. Amr Zidane, you got into this business just about 5 years ago. What was your objective? What was your goal when you first started out?
Well, naturally, it was the Kentucky Derby, right? That's the biggest. That's the show. That's what Bob says. That's the show. That's why we're here. So, I mean, I just feel really blessed, honored, and humbled. I've rehearsed this speech in the shower on the treadmill. Never thought I was going to do it, but here I am, and I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank my family, my wife, my kids, Haya, Talal, Abdullah, parents, and everyone, the team, Gary, Troy, everyone. And I mean, Bob. To Bob, it's not a job; it's art. He's like Picasso or Michelangelo. It just comes naturally, and I just thank him. Literally 15 months ago, we met together at the Dubai airport, and this was the plan. And here we are. I can't thank you enough, Bob Baffert. And again, I'm just humbled and really, really, really grateful. Thank you.
Amr Zidane, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Brittany.
Amr, thank you. With winning trainer Bob Baffert, 7 Kentucky Derby victories, including 2 Triple Crowns. I saw you just standing here shaking your head. Unbelievable. What is going through your head right now? What did Medina Spirit just accomplish?
You know, this little horse coming in here, you know, he's always shown that he's been an overachiever. His heart is bigger than his body. And when he turned for home, something just told me, he reminded me of Silver Charm, that he doesn't know how much he cost. And he came down, he wasn't going to let anybody pass him. And to get Amr Zidane, he wanted to come to the Derby with a $45,000 horse. And I was like, well, we'll see what happens. But this horse is like, I am so you know, the way he ran, I didn't know if he had that in him. And Johnny Velasquez, unbelievable. He is so cool. He told me last night, don't underestimate this horse. He's better than you think, Bob. Don't worry, we'll get the job done. And he got it done.
I got to get Johnny in here for that. John Velasquez, a 4th Kentucky Derby victory. He is the fan favorite here. The biggest difference, obviously, between last year and your 2020 victory and this year are the fans. Just describe what it was like getting this 4th Kentucky victory with the fans back in the stands here at Churchill Downs.
We definitely have to say thank you very much to the fan. I mean, they were so gracefully when I was coming back, and I keep getting the fans going, and the fans were unbelievable. But what a great reception coming back to the horse, and, you know, for the way he did it today. We talked about it over and over, and tell you the truth, great job for Bob and the whole team getting this little horse ready. We talked about it. That he's so hard. I mean, let's put him in the game and let him fight the whole way around, and that's the way it worked out. So, I mean, he came down the lane, and I was very proud. Every time I asked him for a little more, he gave me more and more and more. And I was more tired than he was. He was fighting, I was tired.
Well, congratulations to all of you. The 147th Kentucky Derby going to the heart with all the spirit in the world that is Medina Spirit, a true fighter.
Hall of Fame connections there, Brittany. As Bob Baffert, as you mentioned, wins his 7th. He mentioned 1997 and Silver Charms, silver-haired Bob Baffert's first. And then 2015, American Pharaoh started the run to end the 37-year wait with the Triple Crown. And last year in September, without the fans, it was authentic, winning Baffert's 6th. And then today, the 7th, with Medina Spirit for ownership new to the game, delivering with a guy who's been around the game so much. And as they say, winning never gets old. 2 Hall of Famers combined one more time. $1,000, the purchase price of that horse is a year.
$1,000. Breeder Gail Rice in Florida was going through a divorce. Money was tight. She had horses to take care of. They sent the horse to the yearling sale. She said, don't put a reserve on him. I'll take whatever I can get for him. Just $1,000. He was subsequently resold to Amazon for $35,000. But what a story.
And the story of the jockey, John Velasquez, who is now one shy of the all-time record. 5 Kentucky Derbies is the record, held by 2. He now has 4.
He's made more purse money than any jockey in history. Very deserving. The greatest position rider I think I've ever seen. And certainly a great tactician.
Deep breath, and then we start thinking about the Preakness. As soon as we get a good meal and a good night's rest, in a couple of weeks, we'll always find out which horses go on, which horses go ahead to the Belmont. Some horses not ready for the Derby, we'll see at the Preakness. Some interesting storylines starting to lay out there early on.
Sure. Derby form usually holds up in the Preakness, but this is not a big, robust horse like Justify, and he's not American Pharaoh. He's a little horse with a big heart, and he just had a really tough race. It's going to be a challenge for Bob to get the same thing out of him in Baltimore.
Depending how they come out, you could get the top 4 finishers from the Derby to go back. It won't be a walkover.
It was so close. It was so much fun. It was so great to be back at a sporting event, too. We have a long way to go in our country, but a great step to the return to a new normal here today. At Churchill Downs, we will see you at Pimlico 2 weeks from today for the 146th Preakness Stakes. Medina Spirit, Bob Baffert wins his 7th, John Velasquez wins his 4th, with Jerry Bailey, Randy Moss, and our great NBC Sports Horse Racing team, Mike Tirico. So long from Churchill Downs and the Kentucky Derby.
Let's go. Let's roll.
Welcome to the Derby. Tonight's program, thank you.
We've got the dresses, and do we have the hats?
Steve Kornacki, welcome to Louisville. The near century-and-a-half tradition of partying that goes with the racing.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby. Here's the wire. Bob Baffert does it again. Medina Spirit has won the Kentucky Derby. Bob Baffert stands alone with 7 Derby wins.
One more year, one more bit of history. The party continues at the Preakness. See you in Baltimore in 2 weeks on NBC.
Coral proudly sponsors live racing on Sky Sports Racing.
Fire.